Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here and I'm so glad you clicked on today's video. You guys already know what we're doing today by the title, by the thumbnail. We're doing another book haul. I think my last book haul was about two or 3 months ago. I think we did a book haul. All of those books were books that I had just been collecting throughout 2024, books that I've gotten in the mail, stuff like that. And now we're back. We're doing another fun little book haul. A lot of these books are from book subscriptions I'm a part of, as well as just book PR that I received. I have some books in here that I did go out and purchase myself, which I am so excited to show you guys and talk about them because they are books that I'm just so stinking excited about. But before we hop into it, I just want to say a quick thank you to the sponsor of today's video, which is Book of the Month. I thought it'd be so fitting to start our book haul off with my book picks from Book of the Month. I've been a member of Book of the Month for probably 2-3 years now. I live, laugh, breathe Book of the Month. I think they're such a fun and cool book subscription service where you can find new authors that maybe you've never heard of before or maybe you've never thought to pick up yourself. What makes Book of the Month so amazing though is that they have a team that vets out the best books by new authors that you may have never heard of before or some of your favorite authors, and then they come up with a curated list that you get to choose from every single month. And then you get them delivered to you. It is so fun choosing my books on their website every single month because they literally have such a fun and wide range of books to choose from. I've actually found some of my favorite authors through Book of the Month and I just absolutely love them because of that. For the month of October though, I picked up some really cool books that I'm so excited for. The first one I picked up is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. This is her newest release and I am so very excited for this because I've heard incredible things about this author and I feel like this is also just perfect for spooky season. The second book I chose for October is The Dagger in the Flame by Catherine Doyle, and I actually picked this up because it was their romance of the month. I'm pretty sure this is a rivals to lovers, enemies to lovers, the whole shebang. You guys know some of my favorite tropes. I love the enemies to lovers trope. It is easily my favorite when it comes to reading romance. Book of the Month offers the best prices for new release hardcover fiction, and for the month of October you can actually get your first book for only $5 using my code PUMPKIN. It's totally risk-free as well, so you can skip any month, anytime, and you won't be charged. These are our two first books of today's book haul. I am so excited for both of them, especially this one because again, she is just such a popular author that I feel like everyone raves about. I've personally never read anything by her before, but I've literally only heard really good things. It's perfect for spooky season, perfect for October. Jumping right into our book haul. So if you follow me over on Instagram, you know that I recently went on a trip to New York City. I'm gonna share the 3 books that I bought in New York because all 3 of them are very high on my TBR list for the month of October. They're all very fallish type of reads. They're cozy reads. I do have a witchy read in here that I'm super excited about. The first 2 books we have are The Pumpkin Spice Cafe and The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. These are by Lori Gilmore and they've kind of been popping off recently on social media. They're like the it books of fall, I guess, and everyone is just raving about them, talking about them. If we're just judging them by the covers, these are absolutely stunning covers in my opinion. I think they are radiating fall vibes. Everything about them is just so cutesy, cozy. They really look like they're gonna be great comfort reads this fall season. Book 1 is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. This is a small town spicy romance when Jeannie's aunt gives her the beloved Pumpkin Spice Cafe in the small town of Dream Harbor. Jeannie jumps at the chance for a fresh start away from her very dull desk job. Logan is a local farmer who avoids Dream Harbor's gossip at all costs, but Jeannie's arrival disrupts Logan's routine. He wants nothing to do with the irritatingly upbeat new girl, except that he finds himself drawn to her. Gilmore Girl vibes, guys. Right inside the cover, the very first page. If you ever wish to live in Stars Hollow or that Luke and Lorelai would just get together already, then her books are for you. I already know I'm gonna eat this up just because it is so similar to the Gilmore Girls. Book 2 is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. I already know I'm gonna love this because it revolves around a bookstore. When a secret message turns up hidden in a book in the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, Hazel can't understand it. As more secret codes appear between the pages, she decides to follow the trail of clues. She just needs someone to help her out. Gorgeous and outgoing fisherman Noah is always up for an adventure, and a scavenger hunt sounds like a lot of fun. Even better than the cute bookseller he's been crushing on for months is the one who wants his help. This is gonna be absolutely adorable, and then it looks like she has another book coming out called The Christmas Tree Farms. I really like that there's a little bit of a common theme here. This one obviously is taking place in October, the fall season. This one I feel like it's definitely leaning into November, maybe getting into Thanksgiving, and then the Christmas tree shop is obviously during December, during Christmas time. I feel like this is going to be a really fun and cozy series to kind of jump into and read throughout the rest of the year. The last book I picked up in New York is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I am so excited to read this book, guys. It's a witchy, dark academia type of read. On the flight to New York, I actually started watching the TV show of this. I got through all of season 1 and I started season 2. Wow, wow, wow. If you haven't watched the show, I cannot recommend it enough. I can't say too much on the book right now because I haven't read it yet, but I can only imagine that the book is going to be absolutely amazing because I was obsessed with season 1. It's one of those shows that really just got me from the first episode. It's one of those shows you watch and you want to make it your entire personality. That's how good it was, and I loved it. I love the actors and actresses in it. I love the storyline. The romance is so good. I love it. It's between a witch and a vampire. That's kind of forbidden in this universe. You're not supposed to mingle with different species. So we get a little bit of a forbidden romance in here, and the dark academia vibes are just literally immaculate. I'm so excited for this book. But yeah, I watched the show on the way to New York. I immediately fell in love with it. So I went on the hunt for this book in New York City, okay? And it was not an easy one. It was kind of hard to find. But I found it and I'm so excited to start this universe and series. I feel like this is perfect for the fall time as well because you get those witchy vibes. It's a dark academia. There's a lot of mystery and science involved. The whole concept of the story is just so interesting to me, and adding in the forbidden love, I am just a goner for that. So very excited about this. Our main character, our witch, is Diana, and then our vampire is Matthew Claremont. They're basically both professors at Oxford, and the way they meet, the way they kind of get to know each other, it's so good. So good. I could not recommend this enough. I literally remember when the show came out a few years ago, and right from the first preview or commercial I saw, I was so intrigued by it, but I'm not someone who watches a lot of TV often. I definitely go through phases with watching TV shows and movies, so I never really got into it. And then recently, when I was looking for a show to kind of download for the plane ride, it was the first one recommended to me on Netflix, and I was like, I feel like it's a sign that it was recommended to me, and I absolutely loved it. Like I said, I'm only on season 2 right now. It's so good though. Like, next up, I have some book mail I received from Bloom. It's Mine for a Moment by Katharina Mora. This is an advanced reader's copy, but it is set to come out in the month of October. This is an angsty and steamy romance featuring a billionaire boss and his business partner's little sister. Very interesting. For tropes, we have best friend's brother, forbidden romance, boss and employee, all the angst, happily ever after, age gap, spice lessons, billionaire romance. I also got this little art piece with it. Super excited about this. You guys know I love my billionaire romances. I haven't read one in a hot minute though. I don't know the last time I read a billionaire romance. I kind of been stepping away from it because during the fall time I really like to dive into fantasy books, but it's still one of my favorite type of tropes to read. Next up we have Beating Heart by Laura Pavlov. This is book 4 in the Magnolia Falls series, and I have yet to start this series, but it's something I'm kind of saving for like the spring and summertime because it kind of just gives off that vibe. I don't know if they actually take place in the spring and summer, but by the covers and like the titles, I just get that vibe for some reason. This is a small town, single dad, neighbors to lovers, standalone romance, and I know every book in the series is interconnected, but you can read them as standalones. The first book in the series is Loving Romeo, and that one just sounds so fun and different because it's between a boxer and I think like an heiress or something. Let me see. It's between a boxer and Magnolia Falls royalty. This one just sounds so good though. I also love these versions of the books. I think they're so aesthetically pleasing. I'm not really big on people on the covers, but this is so cool because it actually came signed by the author. Magnolia Falls is a series that I am really excited to start in the spring and summer. Next up we have Close Knit by Kels and Dennis Stone. This is part of the Hastings series, and it's actually a soccer romance, which is super cool because I've never read like any type of soccer romance. I think I've talked about this briefly in other videos of mine, but I'm pretty sure I've only ever read rugby romances and hockey romances, which is absolutely crazy because I love baseball, I love football, so I have to hop on like the baseball and football romance game, but soccer, This can be really fun and interesting. I've recently been getting into soccer because Chris is super into soccer and watching it, and he actually took me to my first ever soccer game about a month ago. It was so much fun. So I feel like the fact that I got this in the mail, so fitting and perfect timing. Our MMC is Cameron Hastings and our FMC is Daphne Quinn. I'm assuming because it's called the Hastings series, maybe it's about like the siblings or something. Pretty sure this is a Grumpy meets Sunshine, but I think the characters are also like fighting their feelings for one another because they're both just too busy with their jobs and sports. But we already know what's gonna happen. They're not gonna be able to stay away from each other because they're madly in love, blah, 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 blah. I feel like this is gonna be a lot of fun. Next up, we have Better Than the Movies and Nothing Like the Movies. Better Than the Movies I actually read in the beginning of this year. I absolutely loved it. I could not believe how long it took me to pick this book up. Everyone who recommended me this book, you guys were so right. I loved it. It was 5 stars. And now we have Nothing Like the Movies. This is her newest release and it's the follow-up to Better Than the Movies. We're basically seeing Liz and Wes after book 1 going off to college, navigating these big changes, being away from each other, long distance, the whole shebang. I am so stinking excited for this book because book 1 just like blew my mind and the romance in it was just so sweet and heartfelt. So I feel like this is gonna be absolutely adorable. I love this book so much. It is now my 3rd copy and I was so very grateful to receive this in a little PR box. That's why I now have a 3rd copy of it. But Nothing Like the Movies, I'm so excited to read this book. It's another book that's very high on my October TBR. Next up we have Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed. This is the Owl Crate special edition. I am obsessed with this edition. I think it is absolutely stunning, especially compared to the normal cover. Not that the normal cover is bad or anything. The normal cover is absolutely beautiful as well, but this is just absolutely beautiful. All the details and animals we're getting on the cover is so cool. The back is absolutely stunning, and then we have these gorgeous printed edges. I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely been getting away from the special edges lately. I don't know what it is. I feel like now every book kind of has them, and I kind of just miss the normal look of book pages. This was a part of my Owl Crate monthly box, and I am so happy I was able to get it. On the back it says, "You are Lady Macbeth, Queen Hereafter." The Owl Crate hardcover is also just as stunning. Owl Crate really did a beautiful job with this edition in my opinion. I think over the past few months I've definitely been disappointed with their books, but I think they nailed this one. I think it is so beautiful. The artwork is gorgeous. Even the reversed cover is absolutely stunning. If you're not familiar, Ava Reed is also the author of A Study in Drowning. It was a part of my fall Rex video. That was a really fun dark academia read. This one though is really cool. If you're not familiar with Lady Macbeth, she is one of the villains created by Shakespeare. I am so excited to read Ava Reed's take on her and take on her story. I think it's gonna be so fun. I have no doubt in my mind that I'm gonna love it just because of the way she wrote A Study in Drowning and the way she wrote those characters. I think this is going to be literally amazing. Next up we have Ruckus and Vicious by LJ Shen. These came in the Eternal Embers September box, I believe. These are very cutie fun covers. I'm not really crazy about character art like this, especially on the covers, but to be honest, I don't really mind it on these. The backs are gorgeous, and then we have the gorgeous printed edges. I love the musical notes on this one and the cherry blossoms on this one. I just think they're so cute. Also excited about this one because our FMC has beautiful pink hair, and I love pink hair. I wish I could do it. I did it once when I was younger. I miss it every day, guys. It was so pretty. These 2 books are part of a series though. I haven't heard too much about them, but this is an author I've heard really good things about. People really enjoy them. The inside artwork for this book is absolutely stunning. Probably one of my favorite inside artworks I've seen in a while. I think it's so pretty having the canvas and paints everywhere. You have the sculptures. Right away you can tell that art's going to be a big part of this story. In this one you can clearly tell that music is probably going to be a big part just because of the edges, but this is the inside artwork for this one. I do think it's pretty cool, but not my favorite just because it's so dark, but I do like the whole sky details that we're getting in here. I do think they're on the spicier side. I think the author is known for writing spicier romances, but I'm excited to try them out because I have heard really good things about that author. Next up, we have Devil in the Deep Blue Sea by Stacey Marie Brown. This was my Darkly book of the month. I want to say from August. I don't think I got a chance to share this edition with you, so I wanted to throw it in because it is absolutely stunning. The Darkly book sub is probably the best one I'm a part of. I think their editions and the work they put into them is absolutely beautiful. The quality of their books and editions, it's just unmatched. I think they definitely have the best quality books and they put the most effort and work into their books. Everyone raves about the Bookish box, so I can't even imagine how amazing those ones are, but Darkly definitely knows where it's at. They do a great job. Came in a cute special box sleeve, which is super cool. Then we have the actual book and it is giving off all the pirate treasure vibes. I am very excited about it. Immediately when I opened it kind of reminded me of Pirates of the Caribbean. I like the pirate vibe, the treasure map vibe. I think this is so beautiful. We have gorgeous printed edges. Again, the details are absolutely amazing. The inside artwork for this one isn't my favorite, to be honest, but I do think it is very cool. The King of the Seas is back. After the battle to save King Lars and Queen Kennedy's throne against Starvos, a tragic loss shatters what was left of Corrigan's heart and the silver-tongued devil returns to his first love. Trying to regain his title as the King of Pirates, Corrigan hears of another who is challenging his claim, the woman pirate known as Puss in Boots. Ruthless as she is beautiful, men desire and fear her. Okay, can we just talk about the fact that her name is Puss in Boots? Katrina Roth grew up on a ship trained by the best until the man she idolized, the captain she loved, turned his back on her, forcing her from the only home she'd known. She is now set on destroying him, and nothing, including her best friend Killian, can compete with her need for revenge. She will make the infamous Silver-Tongued Devil pay. This is actually 2 books in one. It's the Silver-Tongued Devil and Devil in Boots. That is really cool. Now we're on to Darkly's September book. It's Court of Nightmares by K.A. Knight. This one was really interesting to receive. I don't remember seeing this as the book pick, so when I got it, I was like, oh, okay. Cover's really interesting. Honestly, it's probably not one I would pick up if I saw it in the bookstore, which is a reason why I love being a part of these book subs, because I get these books that I would never think to pick up, and I just think it's a really cool way to try new genres and new things. This is the reversed dust jacket, which I think is really cool. The hardcover is super badass in my opinion. I love the red. It's giving off spooky vibes kind of. I mean, the title is A Court of Nightmares, so I feel like it's going to be on the darker side. And then we have these gorgeous edges. Love it. The details, again, it's absolutely incredible. Our inside artwork. Lots happening in here. There are many things that go bump in the night, and I am one of them. As a vampire who was born to fulfill a prophecy, my life was planned before I was created. I obeyed every rule and I became the perfect vampire, but one night changed everything. Rejected by the man who was destined for me, who was supposed to love me forever, I do the only thing I can. I flee into the night, nursing my broken heart. Being a rejected mate corrupts the soul, and in this game of court and kings, nobody wins. Nobody except the monsters in the shadows. The monsters that save me, welcome me, and make me one of them. Welcome to the Court of Nightmares, where all of your wicked dreams come true. It definitely seems like it's on the darker side, so I think it's going to be a really interesting one. It's not one that I'll probably pick up right away, but maybe when I get there, we'll see what happens. Next, we have Howl's Moving Castle. This is a Fairy Loot special edition, and I am so excited for this book. I actually saw the film of it a few years ago. I thought it was so beautiful. The storyline was so touching, and I never knew that it was based off a book. I was totally in shock. So when I saw that Fairy Loot was doing this special edition, I immediately hopped on it and wanted to get the book because it's something I would really like to read, just because I really enjoyed the film. This edition is absolutely stunning. Fairy Loot is another brand that I think does a beautiful job with books. These edges are so pretty. Can we just take a moment? Do you see them at the bottom here? I love that they did this on the pages. I think it is so stinking cute. Moving on to the rest of this beautiful edition, we have the hardcover. Love it. You guys know I'm a sucker for cute pink books. The inside pages are pretty simple, very minimalistic, nothing too crazy, but honestly, they really really went off with these edges, so I don't even mind. And then the reverse dust jacket is absolutely adorable. I honestly think they look perfect in this. The film is so good, guys. I could not recommend it enough, and I am just so excited to actually read the book and read the story, because usually they leave a lot out when it comes to movies and TV shows, because you can't always fit every single little detail you get in a book into a show. So I am very, very excited for this. I'm excited to see what things they maybe left out or missed. Sophie Hatter attracts the unwelcome attention of the Witch of Waste, who puts a curse on her. Determined to make the best of things, Sophie travels to the one place where she might get help, the moving castle, which hovers on the nearby hills. The castle belongs to the dreaded wizard Howl, whose appetite, they say, is satisfied only by the hearts of young girls. I'm literally so excited for this. The last two books of our book haul are books I actually received in the mail today, so I thought it was perfect timing once again, and it was September's Fairy Loot books. How did I miss this? The Dagger and the Flame for my book of the month pick. It ended up being Fairy Loot's book of the month pick. What are the odds, really? My adult fairy loot of September is the Dagger and the Flame. So crazy. I guess it's kind of cool because we can compare the normal cover to the special edition cover. Not too different, but you can definitely see that there's more detail and just added stuff to the fairy loot. Here are the spines of the book. Down here, I really like the details and the characters that they added in. We have the back covers of them, and then we have the edges, which this is very, very cool. It kind of reminds me of the Babel special edition they did. Here is the inside dust jacket. Very intrigued by our two main characters. I also really like the dagger. I think that's really, really cool. Then we have the hardcover, which is also very, very cool. We have the flame on the back. Our inside artwork, I love when there's foiling on the inside pages. I think it is just so pretty looking. It adds so much. We also have the back artwork. The map is super cool. Maps and books are another thing I love. I love when there's maps that I can just kind of look at and go back to throughout my reading. This is definitely one of the cooler maps though that I've seen in books. This is super detailed. There's lots of places. This is book of the month's romance pick for October, and that was the main reason I was drawn to it, along with it being a good enemies to lovers. I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun, especially because it seems like the main drive of the story is revenge. I feel like there's going to be a lot of craziness in that one. Fairy Loot's second book of September is The Gods Below by Andrea Stewart. This was one I was really drawn to because it's about two sisters who are basically on opposite sides of a war between gods, and when I read that first line, it just kind of reminded me of Divine Rivals. I know it's going to be totally different, nothing like that story, but the fact that it takes place during a time of war and all that craziness, I was just really intrigued by it. I also think the fact that it's about two sisters who are on opposite sides is very interesting. Very dark cover, as you can see. Even the edges are on the darker side. The hardcover of the book is probably one of my favorite hardcovers I've gotten from Fairy Loot, mainly because it has color on it. Inside artwork is really, really interesting, and then the back artwork, I'm assuming these are two sisters. Overall, I think this is going to be a really fun and interesting one. Recently discovered Dutch Bros. Life-changing if you haven't tried it before. Wow. That is all for our book haul though. It wasn't a super big one, but we did talk about a fair amount of books today. As always, if you've read any of the books that were mentioned in today's video, make sure to comment down below your thoughts and opinions, if you liked them, if you didn't like them. I'm always interested to know in what you guys are liking at the moment. With all that being said though, thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.